Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today we have dataZen product manager Anbu and business analyst Mohan. They will be walking us all through new features available in Q3 release for dataZen. Before moving forward in the session, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask using the question window. And at the end of the session, we will have the 10 minutes question and answer session. Feel free to answer put your questions in the question box. I'm handing over the session to Anbu now.
Hey, thank you, Karan and team. Welcome. So we are very happy to announce this release to this entire team. And so myself, Anbarasan, and Mohan, who is from the business analyst. So we both are going to run this webinar. And feel free to post all your questions, and we are very much happy to answer all those. And in case anything, we'll send documents fulfill your questions. Thank you. So let's get started. Thanks, Mohan. So today's topic, we are going to talk about 6 major changes what we brought into this Q3. Number 1, Bubblizer integration. So, when we do, the real-time integration that we brought through the Bubblizer integration. And number 2, delegation. So where one user workflow activity can be delegated to the another user. So where that user can act to approve or rework or reject that request. So that's on the number 2. And number 3 for the outbound views. So earlier we used to write some complex SQL queries. Now product got outbound views where we can go and use those views for outbound to sync downstream systems as well. We can use the same for do some analytics. Everything we can do that for the outbound views. And number 4, bulk upload version 2.4. So well aware, we do have a bulk upload very much, very compact way, not having much features today. But this bulk upload 2.0, that is going to bring a lot more features, like we can customize all our loader files and validations can be customized based on the user business requirement that we can do. And match and merge UI and functional enrichment. This is this is going to be real key turner for this R21.Q3. So we tuned up like a terabyte of data, which earlier used to run for hours, days sometimes. But we limited into the 5 to 6 hours, and using very limited resources like 12 GB of RAM and 20 GB hard disk. And CPU can be 2 core. That's how we tuned up this engine. And UI also very flexible today. Both online is offline is enabled for match and merge. And finally, on the workflow, used to have only the 2 options to send whomever got the notification. They can act on the see the mail on the notification. But this time we introduced CC and BCC. Both is there, either we want a carbon copy to their respective team or for the managers. So that option is enabled in a data governance flow. And so let's get into the first topic, Bubblizer integration. And this is all about the features and data quality governance. So this is the data. This is the roadmap. So we are going to talk about. Sorry, Mohan. So can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. And the bulk you could see, we started on the Q2 and ended up on the Q3, and we came out pretty well, and we all can start using that. And the Delegate admin, CC, BCC option, and lookup transformation. Internalization is already there with our system to support multi-languages. And now the lookup also introduced newly on the Q3. And so we can start use that. And Bubblizer integration, outbound view, and match and merge enhancement. These are all major points we are going to cover in this today session. Now, let us go into the first topic, which is Bubblizer integration. Thank you, Mo. And Our MDM, are currently running on the web, which clients our technology, and we can connect to any number of systems, reading the data or sending the data back. And we thought to bring real-time data integrations, like so however we can connect to the DNB of Oracle Cloud, Salesforce, any given data sources we can go and connect, read the data in real time. Say for instance, I'm going to create a new customer. That time I'm going to enter the customer name and address. I can call Dun & Bradstreet in real time to get all the information from the Dun & Bradstreet to validate either the customer is valid one or not. That I can do. Or I do have something like asset systems or any offline systems too, that we can go connect and do that. So how we done it, everything possible through our dataZen. So dataZen card, the publisher integrate. I mean, publisher is already there. So currently, the app MDM, tied up with the publisher, and we made it. So you could see the first line, it can, publisher is going to read the data from the source systems, and publisher is going to convert that into JSON format and it displayed as in a new, nicer UI look and feel. And from that, what we are going to get a benefits, it's going to be a real-time data, and we can, connect to any third-party systems. It can be both GET or POST method, or in a traditional way, like a database APIs, that also we can do. And process flow can be also executed on demand. So if I done some job, I want to call, immediately my downstream system. So I don't want to wait for even a second. If you want to call, a downstream system in synchronization, that we can do through this process flow today, just clicking the button. And, we can access the same way augmentations. If a user is undo, he can access only Dun & Bradstreet, and if in case of a Mohan, he can access only for, different API. And also, we can restrict through that. And I've put to the next slide that we can see, how I can, implement this feature. So it's a very simple screen, we brought up to integrate the publisher. So all we need to have, data object should be created. That data object need to be mapped to the MDM field. So what are my input field is going to call the publisher, and what is going to be my, response payload, what are parameters I'm going to get it back. So these two are, mapped. So everything is done. So we can start using it. And Mohan, can you, bring your screen, to run this?
Sure, Anbu. Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'll just open up a video. So whatever Anbu just explained it, I know we're just going to just run a video that will have a simple configuration of adding a custom button to the one of the address page, and from there we just click on a button, it's going to get the data. So let me just start it. So we just log into the system and I go to actions. So I'm just selecting one of the draft record which is in the system. So I'm going to click on address, edit. So inside this we get all this address information, and if you can see there's a button called publisher integration. There's a custom button. So I'm going to type in just address line 1 and pass this data when I call this publish integration. So this is going to call some 3 different services. So this is first service, which is actually bringing up me some 12 rows of records, and I'm just selecting one record out of it. So the data that you see is actually from an external system, and even this data. So this is a second service. So based on whatever I see, I just click on apply, and it picks up the input as address 4, and it brings me up another set of record. And this is a third level of service that has been called. So if you can see, all the data has been stamped into the system itself. So now we got the data back in the system. So all this just happened with the help of this publisher integration. All right, Anbu.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So there are several key takeaway points here from the publisher integration. It's going to be a real-time data integration, and we can enable this feature against either a field. So if I type some field, I want bring some data, that we can do, or we can put it on top of a buttons. So that also we can do. And the process flow can be called through the asynchronous way. Either synchronous is real time, asynchronous way, scheduled way, we can do that. That also possible. And this is more important, like we can enable or disable this feature based on user or for conditions. Say for instance, if I put United States, that time DNB should be called. If I put something else, Europe API should be called. That also we can do that. So these are key takeaway points from this publisher integration. Thank you. So now, let's get into the next topic, which is, delegation. So yes, so we do have a delegation from the Q2, but this is well enriched, and what we brought into this, the features we added up, both admin and self-service. So earlier we used to have only the admin can go and delegate the user delegations, but today we introduce self-service. User itself can go and delegate to somebody else, and on an approval basis that is going to be delegated. And we also enable this on the dynamic approval component too. Like earlier static one and the sequential we added, but this is currently available with the dynamic one, either on the matrix or for the SQL pattern or custom query builder based workflow. Anything we have today in our dataZen. So everything got enabled through this dynamic approval component as a delegate. And we brought up, the earlier UI is in a very traditional UI like a text boxes, but we introduced a calendar-based UI. So you could see here, the calendar when users get in, they can see, which date to which date they can block it for, delegate to somebody else, so they can do it. And also, the UI helps today. The earlier UI, used to go and we had to select the activity one by one. Now it's going to be, I can select the entire data model for, select one activity, we can, delegate. And obviously we do have a scheduler engine. So once, the dates are, expired, automatically the workflow or notifications will be expired automatically. And there are several benefits. So key benefits are, in those CUP. So easy to use, the user interface. So the old, the text boxes has gone. So it's going to be just a click and, drag and drop. So we can go and create a delegation, pretty quick, and visibility is so clear today. And number two, multi-select. So when a delegation entry may happen within few seconds, we can delegate it. And admin privileges are added up. So either admin can go and delegate user 1 to 2, or either a self-service user can go as a user 1 to delegate to the user 2. So that is today available on this UI. And if I go to the next slide, so we can see how that can be configured. Yes. So we have the simple the calendar screen, which is available today to configure the delegation setup, and where user can go and pick the date and from and to, like how we are doing the calendar setup in the regular Microsoft Calendar or for Google Calendar. So similar way. So user is so convenient, I believe. So they can go and use this calendar UI and bring from and to date and pick the user whom they want to delegate. They can pick and save it. If they want, if something is wrong, they can quickly edit that, and if they want to remove that, so they can delete that delegation too. That is everything can possible through this UI. Now we can see it on the real screen. How the delegation is lookalike. Mohan, over to you, please.
All right. Thanks, Anbu. Okay, so in this demo, we'll just have some 3 different scenarios. One which Anbu covered is like we'll log in with admin and try to search a user. From there, we delegate to a third user and see how when we submit a request, how it actually works in both the queue. So this is just like 1 minute and 55 seconds video. So just be with it. So we're just logging with the admin user. So we go to main menu and click on delegate user task. So from here, I can actually pop up the list of users which is available in the system. So I'm going to select one collector user. So this is a person who's actually, let's say he's going on vacation. So this person is actually going to delegate all these 3 tasks for this data model for the date of 15 to 17. So we just select 15 and we'll select the to date. And here I can actually choose to whom I'm going to delegate. So this person is going to delegate it to Vignesh_test. There's a sample user. So once we click on save, the same thing get reflected in the calendar that we see in the screen. So all these 3 bars that you can see. So once it is done, so let us process a new request. So I'm just going to enter just few details for the demo purpose. So I just clicked on save and I just closed it. And after this, I'm going to submit the request. So now the request is submitted. So we're going to log off from the admin. So let's actually go to the default person who is the collector, actually where the case is supposed to go for the first time. So we go to actions, and if we go to pendings for collection approval, so whatever the request that's been submitted, so now it came in this queue, the request number 22 that we see in the screen. So this is the actual person who is basically the default collector. So now we'll log in with the delegated user. So here also, if we go, that person will also have the same notification, and the same request 22 will be available in this section as well. So as Anbu said, the other person can easily do the task if the other person is not available. I think that's it pretty much. Thank you. And
yeah,
you can
thank you, Mohan. Yeah. So here, there are a few takeaway points from that. So, like automatically transfer all the pending notifications. For instance, 15, 16, if a user is going for a vacation and, there may be a few left out. So that also automatically transfer to the user who is, newly delegated, they'll get it. And also automatically expire, once the notification, its period is over, it automatically expires. So ease of use UI and, all these, automated schedulers are available. So that can be, enabled quickly. Thank you, Mohan. Next, we'll talk about, the another important feature, which is, outbound views. The earlier, like we used to have, to build a complex outbound data objects. Now, dataZen itself, we brought up a new views. So which is, included everything, request screens, request hub, quality hub, master hub, everything, included. And this can be easily tied up with our process flow. Views can be used, and mainly for the checking checkout. So those views are, a very smooth transition from one system to the another system, wherein, our dataZen is a more of a dynamic, the tables, columns are more dynamic and encrypted way. User cannot, understand it, but this view helps, user to understand all about the data and meta information. Okay. And the benefits, like outbound configuration is made very easy, seamless checking checkout we can do. And most important, like, the lookup objects, that's tightly coupled with those, view. So earlier we had to go and, join different tables and queries, everything, put together, and we have single view for each object. Say, for instance, customer address contact, I'll have 3 different views. That view all can, 3 together as a one data model that we can be, prepared. That process flow is formed. The outstream, the downstream is very easy. We can call to, SAP or Oracle or for any data. So, systems. So we can, synchronize seamlessly from the dataZen to the target system. So through this view. So the configuration, when we go to the next slide, we can see about that configuration. It's a pretty simple. There is no configuration actually. So everything, when we deploy the object, so there is a, a final deployment. When I say object is complete and deployed, that time automatically all the views are created. And in case we want, change the view name for a user convenient, for understanding name. So where we can go and change the name system itself, so that can be registered. Also, we can edit the column name too. How view should be created. That also we can do that. And key takeaway points when we talk about here, outbound configuration is very easy, and lookup objects are included, and very less manual activity for checking checkout. So, the business benefits are like seamless integration, they'll get it, and there is no manual intervention hereafter. It is going to be for creating complex queries. Everything automated from the dataZen. dataZen itself, it is going to control all the data movements, and that's the benefit we are going to get it out of this particular view. And we'll go into the next one.
And should we run the demo for this one little?
I know, Mohan, we can go for it. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so as Anbu said, I'll just log into a screen, and we'll directly go to the outbound view section. We have introduced a new process called outbound process, where we have put this outbound view section, and I will show the list of views available and how to edit and how to see the read-only data. All right, so as we see here, I'm just logging in. So I'm just selecting one of the data model. So I go to the configuration. Now you see there's a new feature called outbound process. So in that I click on outbound views. So these are all the list of available views. It actually picks up from all the instances like request hub, master hub, even from the quality. and hub. And from here, I can actually click on view and I can get the details into it. Pulls up everything, starting from the foundation fields to the custom field that is available from the main table. And we can even change the alias name. So I'll go that into the edit section. So now I click on edit. So now you see this particular screen should be in editable mode. I can even change the view name and I do the changes. I can change alias name. I can click on apply and I come back. Once I come back here, I can click on build. So then it's ready. All right, that's it.
Yeah, thanks. All right. So, the takeaway point here, hereafter, we cannot miss any configuration mistakes. So outbound configuration is made easy, and data can be seamlessly go from dataZen to the downstream systems. And let's move on to the next topic, which is like a long-awaited bulk upload 2.0. So, earlier version, we do have that, upload, update, everything was there, but, we have a lot of limitations in terms of, I have a template called customer address contact, can we club together as a one single file uploaded? That's not possible in the earlier design. Or can we restrict, user one, they might have, only few columns, like 5 columns for updating that, and user 2 have different 5 columns. Can we do that? That's not possible, with the version 1.0. But today, this bulk upload 2.0, so we have completely, redesigned the entire workbench for upload, and object restriction, field arrangements, and object combination, anything, we can do today. And user interface, it's a very lightweight, and the ease of use, user can go and input the files. Files are going to be stored on the interface table by automatically through the loaders, and user can go and pick the batch which they want to raise the request. So automatically, the request will be initiated from the interface table to the dataZen. And also we can, do the partial data record movement using, input parameters like a batch number. I can give, those will be, moved from the request initiated status to the dataZen. And benefits, yes, it is going to meet a universal model where with industrial standards so I can customize my own Excel files in terms of the business requirements, so we can customize that. And our data zap, the splitters and joiners, that is going to take care of populating data into the interface table. And the interface table and loader APIs are available today with this feature. So the data loading or a data migration, in the fastest way we can bring it. So earlier we had to go through the quality process. Now we can, do a lot more faster way. We can bring data into the MDM through this bulk upload. The Excel files can be uploaded, or these APIs can be, integrated to either source systems that can be pulled and routed through this bulk upload interface model. That is, currently available. And let's move on to the next slide. And configuration is again pretty simple. So once we deploy it, so purely says there's no configuration. When we deploy it, these interface tables will be created, and on top of that, based on a user requirement, we can go and create a loader matter of few hours that can be available based on the request. Our business. And another important, we can build custom validations too based on users. That is possible. Once data loaded, so we can insert the request through batch number. So batch data can be moved from interface table to the dataZen. And key takeaway points I would put here. So flexible design. So where we brought up number of examples can be based on a user requirement, and validation and transformation is everything is based on a user, and very easy user interface and partial record movement that is can be feasible today. Okay. Mohan, now we can go to the next topic, Mohan. This is another important feature. We touched a bigger milestone with our dataZen in the quality metrics side. So match and merge UI. So we changed completely, and even if it is a terabyte of data, this page won't hang, or for it can search is very quick, and user can take a quick actions like making a survival or eliminator. That is possible. And reviews are made up with a group, so user can go and by group they can review it. And when we do save, that performance also improved pretty much. And the character matching, so we brought a lot more artificial intelligence of matching algorithms inside it to the match and merges. And the field merge is newly introduced. So earlier used to have as a backend way, but now it's very much available in the front end. User can go do the field merge too. Obviously, yes, there is a rule-based available as the existing one. Still, user can go and edit or change the field merge here. And no match siblings in the result screen that we brought up, and append and drop. So that's another important feature we brought for the child records. So in case if you are merging two different customers on that, whatever child records which is an addresses are, everything will be clubbed together as appended. And if user wants, they can drop in needed. And key points, I would put UI, functional, performance tune-up, everything. It's going to be a brand new match and merge we brought up the better and the best way on this one. Now we can go to the next slide and talk about little bit on the configuration side. So there is no change in configuration. Existing configuration itself works, and we made a UI is a little better to understand. That's what we done it. And key benefits, import and export, we brought up today. Say for instance, I can do terabyte of data within the system, so we can download the file as Excel, we can work it out, and then we can re-upload it. That option is available. And the level-wise match and merge is there. Grouping generation, online edit, again easy. We would recommend to go for online edit in case UI is well, work with any number of data. And user can take a quick decisions rather do it on Excel. So everything can be made by the online. That is available. Mohan, over to you.
All right, thank you. So I'll just go for a quick demo, and in this demo we'll just have a little bit of for the demo purpose we have executed the inbound so that to avoid the waiting time. So now it will just load in a way that we have done a little bit of conditions, like simply saying like customer number should exactly match with the one in the hub, and we have also said the email address should not be blank. So these are the conditions. We have just used it just for the demo purposes. So we'll just see how we are going to select the survivor record and how actually the manual merging process is going to work, and how I'm going to review the record. So I'm just logging in. So as I said, the inbound is already completed. So which means we got the data, and this is ready for the manual review to happen. So I go into notification, then I go to match and merge review, and this is how you see the data. So let's actually take the first two things, and this is the filter that we can see the in progress and completed one. You can see completed as 0 right now. So I'm going to edit the first set. So we just grouped it, and I click on edit, and I see the second record as a survivor. So I just selected survivor, and the first one is an eliminated. So once it is done, I can actually make it as mark as reviewed, and it asks me for a comment. So I'm just going to simply say reviewed, and I just click on apply. So now this particular group is reviewed. So now if I go back, you can see it is in review status. And now I do the next process. So this is where actually the record is actually getting initiated. So now, which means as per our current workflow design, we have put it under the collector. So whatever the record that's been initiated will automatically go into the pending for collection approval. So I'm in the same user right now for the demo purpose. I'm going to notification. Now I go to pending for collection, and here you see the record. That's it, Anbo.
Yeah, thank you, Mo. And there are a few key takeaway points in this. Number one, so the import export option is there. We can do both online and offline, and the level-wise match and merge is enabled. Grouping number is there, and it's ease of use. The UI is there within us today. We can start use that, and quickly we'll move it. Last but not least, so the final topic, the workflow, the carbon copy and BCC both are enabled in a workflow. See the configuration wise, just a small configuration we had to go, enable an email notification, go there and type a subject and what the message we want to send it for the CC and BCC, that we can do it either by a standard message or by the template. We can do that. And a few key takeaway points here: users outside of the workflow can get notified via email. So even though if a user or a business team doesn't involve any MDM activities, still they want to notify. So we can send, using this option, we can send it through. Also, it works for all the dynamic workflows, approval matrix, everywhere it is working. Yep. Thanks, team. So I think we covered everything pretty fast way. So hope got the information from us, and we'll go to the Q&A.
Hey, thanks, Anbu and Mohan. So I have a few questions over here which are posted by the customers over here in the meeting. So let me read out one by one the questions.
Okay.
So the first question is around here is regarding the bulk upload. How validation works in the bulk upload?
Oh, okay. Thanks for that. I mean, nice question. So today, it's pretty much possible with the validation. Since before before load the data, all the validation will be there. User can correct their files, and then finally they can re-upload it. So dataZen is going to be used. All the powerful, loader engines are, brought up with this bulk upload. All the transformation, validations, everything will be there. User can go and fix the data in screen itself using our loader screens. That is available, and validation is working with the with the loader feature. Thanks.
Okay. So now moving towards the next question, which came from one of the customer again. The question is regarding the delegate functionality. So can one person delegate his activities to multiple person?
Yeah, that is possible. Yeah. Today, I may be assigned for two different activities. Say, for instance, one activity at the level of inventory, another activity at the finance level. So I may be the person in two different activities. Yes, inventory activities can be delegated to Mohan, and the finance activity can be delegated to Karan. So that is possible. And in case if they want delegate to the same activity to the two different person, that's not possible. But intended one person at a time to be delegated. That's functionality today, but yes, we can do more than one person with the different activities. That is available with our delegation functionality.
Thanks, Anbu.
Thanks.
So the next question I see over here is regarding the publisher integration. Is it possible to call two or more APIs in this one single request screen? Say for an example, I have either DNB or USPS. So can I call both the APIs at the same time?
Wow, this is a really amazing question. Yeah. So so a vector screen, we can introduce a n number of buttons, n number of text boxes. So, each and everything controlled by augmentation. So either we can call DNB or USPS. We can call n number of API calls from one single screen. Again, so as I said earlier, so we can even restrict that too. Like if a person is logged in, so only DNB, or another person is logged in, only USPS call. That also we can do. Or both should call. Yes, that also possible. As we see in two different services can be called within one single button click. That also possible. Or two different button with two different APIs. That is also possible to do today with our micro screens.
Yeah, and I'll just add one point to it. Even in the demo that we showed today, that actually covered three different services, because the question came for two, but the demo actually showed three. So all these three calls that happened was from different system, and we were able to get the data, pass in the input, and again play with the data.
Hey, thanks, Anbu and Mohan. So let's go towards the next question, which is coming from another customer. The question is regarding the delegate functionality you showed. I would like to know that how the audit tracks works for that delegate functionality.
Okay, so if a person, take an example, user A and user B. So user A delegated his activities to the user B. So when user B approved, so all our request status activity screens, will show up like a user B done this activity from what time, what date he done it. Everything will be shown in terms of the bracket. There is a hint will be there. So whom on behalf of, he done this activity. Say for instance, like, this user A, on behalf of user A, I have done this, activity, approval activity user B. So both will be tracked. So on behalf of, and then, who is the real user, does that approval, both will be tracked. We shown this in, everywhere, like all the request status screens, request audit screens, even inside, when we go to the request palette. So that activity screen itself, we are showing every information. So who approved on behalf of, everything is there. And we have, separate audit tracking table too today for approval. So where, this delegated user information is also, very much tracked, we'll get it. So who done, now what purpose they done it. Even not, today, in case of after a month or two, we can go back and we can see the history. Yes, audit, audit, we can see both delegated user information as well as, original user, both will be there. Thanks for the really, good question.
Thanks, Anbu. So I have one more question from a customer, which says regarding the views. The question is, can I use the view to build the dashboard or a report?
Yeah, yes. The view can be used for everywhere. We can use this for, in a app to play. I take it as a dataZen. So we can, create a data lake or data view using this view. And comes to the data object side of dataZen, that also we can do. Data, abarts, if we want to pause it, we can do. And so we want to publish this view in terms of, accessing from the outside. So that also possible. So view can be, configured as a data object, and the data object can be, published through publisher. So we can integrate that in our Microsoft Power BI of a different, like a dashboard tools. We can do that. Or internal our dataZens also, can consume this view and create, reports. That is possible today.
Thank you, Anbu. We have still more 5 minutes, and I see more 3 questions coming up. So over here, the next question is, this is a very good question, Anbu, for you. So the business wants to know that if I have a field which needs to be null in SAP, while doing a bulk upload, is it possible to update the data as a null from your system to SAP system?
Oh, okay. If I understand correctly, like I have 3 fields. So the field one is like a name, another one is a country. So I want to know, bulk update can be replaced with a different name or a country, right? So in terms, we want to make it those fields as nullified. Yes, possible. We have a special qualified string is available. When we upload an Excel file, so we have to put MDM null, nothing but everything is together. And if we use that string as a special string, so that existing, the data will be nullified. Comes to the case of an integer, there is a special string called -9999. So if you pass that, existing integer field will be nullified. And date, we can go with 01 Jan 2099, which is a far future date. If you use that, so the date fields will be get nullified. And if you want to put a space or something, yes, if you put Excel doesn't have these value, we won't treat it that as that field is going to update it. We won't update anything. If you pass this the special string MDM null or -999 or 01 Jan 2099, so those fields will be get nullified. Yes, obviously when we do the downstream, SAP also get the same nullify those data, the respective fields.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, team. Thanks for a great time. Bye.